Hello? Hello? I think I took a wrong turn somewhere.
Hey!
Hi? What?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey!
Hi.
Listen!
Okay.
Listen!
Okay.
Listen!
What am I listening for?
Watch out!
Whoa! Oh, Link. What are you doing here? I see. Uh-huh. Sure, I'm always down to go get some treasure. Lead the way. You sure like breaking pots, don't you? You need to calm down over there, Link. All right, let me see. What is this thing? Oh, it's a big, sweet treasure chest. All right, I'm gonna open this one, Link. You get them all the time. Let me have this one. Looks like an old NES game. Nintendo Shack Beta cartridge. Huh. Well, all right. Let's give it a shot. Let me just hook up my NES here and. Okay, pop it in here and hit power. Oh, it's not working. Silly me. Hold on. Let me take it back out. Oh, I haven't had to do that in years. All right, let's put this thing in now. Let's see what's going on. Select player. Jason. Nah. Donnie. Nope. Kevin. Here we go. Press start to begin. Hello everybody and welcome to Play Some Video Games. After a long and agonizing but overall successful week of contract negotiations, I, your host Kevin, have agreed to return to the show. With us this week is Donnie. Donnie, how are we doing?
Pretty good, man. I feel like you missed out you missed the opportunity to do your grand rock entrance. Finally, Kevin has come back. Finish the sentence. Jesus, no. Kevin, you never. We never finished each other's sentences.
This was part of our negotiations, Donnie. I'm not your puppet. Anyway, and we have Jason this week. Jason, how are you?
The magic has ended. I feel like I'm witnessing a terrible thing, terrible breakup firsthand. It's like this must have happened when like the Backstreet Boys went on hiatus.
They got fat and recorded a bad documentary.
Jason's just eating his vegetables while mommy and daddy are fighting at the dinner table. It's awkward.
Yes.
Oh, but anyway, so
childhood trauma is coming back.
Yeah, right. Let us all take a moment and gather ourselves. So, it's Kevin, it's Donnie, and it's Jason. So, fellas, I think it's time to welcome the audience back to the Nintendo Shack.
That's right.
It's been a bit of time since the last time we've all gathered alone to speak exclusively about Nintendo. And no, it's not about the NX, because we're still waiting on that one, but that will come later, boys and girls. It will come. But before we dive into our conversation for this evening, let's talk a little bit about what we've been playing. And Donnie, let's throw it to you first.
All right. My son and I successfully won the tag team titles in WWE 2K16 on the Xbox One.
Yes.
Bought myself an extra controller. Literally 2 days before the original model went on sale at Best Buy. So I got like a used version for the exact same price of what a brand new one's going. So I was upset with that purchase. I finished the Dark Palace and Link Between Worlds. All of Jason Lacey's Zelda talk got me feeling that itch, so I had to scratch it. Not the easiest game to jump back in, like when you've put it down for a while. I jumped right back in, maybe 2/3 to that dungeon, no idea where I was. Like I literally lost all bearings. I was like, oh, I don't think I can stop dungeons and come back to these next time. But all of that matters not, because for the last 3 days I have been playing Forza Horizon 3. Every waking hour. And when I mean every waking hour, I mean I woke up an hour before work the other day and played it.
You don't say. That's weird. I had no idea you'd bought that game. Jason, did you?
This is the first I've heard of this.
Wow. All right, go on, Donnie.
Yeah, they sound. Mr. Salty chimes in here because I've been talking with Nathan about it on our PSVG team chat ever since I got it. Because immediately when I jumped in, I mean, you guys, everything that Q and Nathan and Mo have said about it is correct. The game is beautiful, stunningly beautiful. Not just beautiful because it's on next gen, like prettier than every game you've probably seen to date. Like, it's really pretty. Um, the cars and the driving mechanics are spot on, as in different cars drive better based on the asphalt, the dirt, the terrain, the beach, so on and so forth. And way more than just kind of like this car wipes out if it hits sand. I mean, it's tangible. You can feel it in the controller. I mean, it's perfect. I dare say. I mean, it is spot on. And then the cars are just crazy. I mean, there's a bajillion of them. You can collect them, change them, paint them. There's literally a whole subset of the game of just designing them. There's already. The game's been out, what, 3 days?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, for those of us that just got the regular edition, it's been out, I think, since Tuesday. And there's already thousands of designs, and people are designing them. I mean, everything you think of, like Fast and the Furious and that whole culture of, tricking out cars and all that, I mean, that is built in here. But the thing that I really the thing that I really enjoy about the game so far is the open world, the map design. It has a very Assassin's Creed type feel to me, where you kind of set up this festival or this fan fest, this little hub, and then once you do so, all of these events around you become available. And then as you drive around, you discover more events that become available, and you just kind of keep building out that area and that region until you acquire enough credit or enough fans to go and create a new one in another area. So I've only started the first 2 areas, which is probably 10% of the whole overall map. So there's still, I'd say 80% of the map I probably haven't even seen yet or driven through I'd say I'm probably 7 or 8 hours in already. I had all kinds of questions. The one thing, if I could just be somewhat detrimental about the game, is that the game really did not answer any question that I had when I got it. This is the first Forza game I've ever played. Period. I didn't play them on 360. I haven't played any of them to date. So I do think that they're expecting you to kind of know what you're getting into. And for somebody like me, I had no idea. So I just jumped in. All kinds of questions for Nathan. First question I had, first day I'm driving, none other than Spider Jedi comes racing by me. And I'm like, what the hell? He said he wasn't buying games. And I thought I caught him. I was like, I caught him. Caught him red-handed. He's been buying games this whole time, not telling anybody. Turns out, or at least according to him, I'm in no, I have no ability to refute his claim. According to him, that's pulling data that he raced in Forza Horizon 2 called a Drivatar. And that makes sense because I'm running into all kinds of people that I don't think have the game. And when you encounter these Drivatars, and they're just kind of like NPCs, just like cruising the world, you can race them for points. You can race them to add to your crew. I don't know what the crew does yet. They don't like drive with you or anything. I think it's an online thing that I haven't ventured into. But video Gabe from Married to the Games, I just added him to my crew the other day. I was driving the other morning. He just popped up in a really crappy car too. He had like a Volkswagen Golf. So I just like smoked him.
Is it the 2 Live crew?
So all in all, I mean, the game is, I want to tell you it's amazing or spectacular. I've never been this into a racing game ever. Because you have these Drivatars, you can do all of the races without having to go online. So you don't have to play it online, but you can go online and play all of the same races and more in a bunch of different modes. Like you can co-op it together. You can race against each other. There's like a tag game Nathan was telling me about. So it's extremely deep. I am literally having a blast just driving around. In addition to races that are scattered amongst the map, there are also these hidden barns that have cars that you can go and collect the cars if you can find them. And they're hidden, like they're not on the map. Like you have to discover them. There's also these signs that you hit to get extra XP or extra credit, and they're like on the top of houses and at the underneath bridges and down in the woods and stuff. So you have to find them, and then even when you find them, like I hit one today that was on a barn where I had to back up maybe a half mile and drive down the side of a mountain, go across a bridge instead of the water so it wouldn't slow me down, to hit like this ramp right before the house so I could launch myself up onto the roof to get the thing. And I'm just literally just having a blast driving around just doing stuff like that. Like I'm just hitting all the jumps. If you're a Burnout fan, there's a ton to love here. My kids have gotten into it. I've designed each of them their own custom car. My daughter immediately picked a Miata. I don't know what that says about sexism in America, but that's what she was attracted to. She said, "I want a Miata." I even found a Ferrari in which she responded, "I don't like Ferraris. I want my Miata." So she's cruising around as well under my name in a Miata. So if you encounter Donnie K. Reese driving around in a pink Miata, no, that is not me.
Yeah,
That is my daughter. And then my son is driving the Warthog from Halo. And he painted it yellow, and he wanted to put PSVG on the hood. I couldn't figure it out. There's some way you can do it. I'm more or less kind of waiting for Q or Mo to create the PSVG vehicle of Forza Horizon 3, because I know that they're way more creative and they have a lot more experience in this world than me. But all in all, guys, I'm loving it. I don't think I've played enough to give you a review. I have played enough of it to tell you that I'm absolutely into it.
Oh,
I'm
good.
smitten. All I want to do is play more of it, and it is instantly on my short list Game of the Year candidate.
Nice.
Already. Hands down.
Now we understand what all the hype was about then from the guys. So, all right, Jason, what have you been up to?
Man, I haven't played a legit racing game in a long time. Probably not since Ridge Racer, if you even count that.
I was gonna say I don't.
Because everything ever since then, I've always been more drawn to somewhat arcade stuff. I loved the Burnout series, but Wipeout XL on PlayStation, that was one of my favorites. But again, you have combat and things like that added
I got
to it.
into Midnight Club back in the day.
Oh yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. I played Project Gotham a little bit with Lucas on his
that was
Xbox,
good too.
but that's another story. For me personally, right after we recorded PSVG last week, I got up the next morning and I finished Ocarina of Time.
Yay.
So knock that off the list. It's so funny going back to it because, man, that whole fight with Ganon and Ganondorf, not hard at all. I even the first time I ever played it. I mean, once you learn the mechanic, but I think going back to it, it was just wow, this is not this is not difficult, but it's still fun. It's still really cool. Cool fight scene, cool ending. That whole part when you're having to follow Zelda is a little annoying, but that's beyond it. All in all, though, still a great game. Happy. I'm glad I took the time to play through it. Now I can say I've actually experienced the whole game, and I can put it away and forget about it for the time being. And ever since that point, besides, as always, the occasional Awesome Not Salt Fest, there has been the I've been consumed by Steam World Heist by Image and Form, which also is coming to Wii U. I think it releases in Europe, I think tomorrow. I can't remember when the North America release is.
October.
October,
I just
okay.
said October.
But I've been playing on 3DS, and man, I love it, but it's... I don't know if I'm just kind of smitten by the design of the game, because the levels and everything get a little old. For those unfamiliar, it is a 2D side-scrolling turn-based strategy game. So you have, depending on the mission, you control anywhere from 1 to 4 Steam bots, and you have different objectives in each level, where it might be eliminate so many enemies, collect all the items, destroy an object, and get out before the a certain number of turns. So your objectives vary from mission to mission, but you're still, you're basically doing the same thing. You're moving, you're shooting, and you're moving again. So you can basically, with each turn, you're able to load out each character. They each have a different class, and then that controls what weapons they're able to equip, from a pistol to a shotgun to a submachine gun to a sniping pistol to heavy weapons. And then they all have special abilities as well. So each turn, you're basically allowed to move and attack, or perform a double move, or move and one of your special abilities, things like that. And then, so it's all about picking a balanced team, and then using placement, using cover, things like that. And it's pretty interesting. The aiming it feels good when you pull off a good shot, because only with the sniping weapons do you actually have like a tracer line for your aiming. But I don't know, it's a fun game. I actually finished it today. I put probably about 13 hours
Not too bad.
into it, so yeah, it's pretty good. It's got 3 acts. Enemies vary. Oddly enough, the final boss wasn't nearly as difficult as the boss of the second act, but it was still an enjoyable boss fight. I was just playing through on the regular difficulty. There only was like one level where I was really frustrated because it really kind of stacked the deck against you, but otherwise it was pretty well balanced. It's a fun game. I'd recommend it, especially if you're a fan of SteamWorld Dig. It's not the same game, but it very much captures the feel of that world. I mean, they're set in the same universe. It's just, different concepts. So I'm very much a fan of Image and Form because of that. Yeah, I easily recommend it. There is a DLC as well. I think it's like $5, and they add like a new character and some more levels and more items, things. Much like for those, I guess console people would be familiar with it now as well. Team Fortress, they incorporate hats in this game.
Oh, cool.
That you can equip on all your characters. You can buy them for the stores. You can actually, if you shoot at the enemy, you can actually shoot their hats off, and then you can pick them up and then take those. And so there's all these different hats you can equip. And as I learned after I finished the game, there's a new game plus option, and you get to start the game over with all the characters and all the hats you've unlocked. So there's that. The only funny story I have about the game, I was winding down my workday, and I was just playing. I was actually playing the boss fight at the end of the day, and all of a sudden I happened to glance to the side of my 3DS, and there's this red light flashing at me, and I'm like, oh, that means my battery is going dead. So I quickly slap it closed. I didn't have my charger. I'm like, well, hopefully I can get home soon. So it was like a race against the clock to get home, to plug it in so I didn't lose all my progress. I'm happy to say, well, I got home here and the light was gone. I was like, oh crap, I didn't make it. But then it was still on. It still had juice. So battery consumption was not horrible. And yeah, that's my horribly short, funny, somewhat not really funny, but funny story on the subject. But all in all, I would recommend the game. I had a lot of fun with it. It was even with the repetition, I still like, I don't know if it was, the fact that I wanted to level up my characters with each level and unlock new abilities, or I think I just kind of enjoyed the combat a little bit. So it didn't get, even though it kind of felt repetitive, it didn't get stale at the same time. But other than that, that's the only game I've played. Now I'll probably start playing either SteamWorld Dig or I'll jump into Majora's Mask. I don't know.
There you go. Your lesson learned now. Now you need to have a second charger at work, like the rest of us do.
Yeah.
I run into that same problem sometimes too, and I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna do? But now I have 2 chargers, so I leave one at the office and one at home, so I don't have to run into that situation. But I feel your pain there.
Yeah, it was never an issue to this game. When you're just hopping in Animal Crossing for 5-10 minutes at a time, you're not using
Yeah,
much battery, so
your battery will last 3 months like that. Oh, geez. Now, I guess it's my turn. So I'm going to feel like Kyle here every once in a while when he pops in and goes over like 10 different games he did, because I feel like it's been a while.
You can't just make up game names.
Well, no, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
All these games you guys should be familiar with, or you will be familiar with by the time this episode drops. So let's see. Telltale Batman, still playing that. Wrapped up episode 1, and I started episode 2 as of this morning. That's the newly released episode. Still really digging it. The story of Batman, if you will, even his origin has been tweaked a little bit for this, but it's making for a really, really good story, which is what you expect from Telltale anyway. So, it's still your standard Telltale game. I did report before that I had never seen any lag or anything like that with the new engine. I did get a little bit of that this morning, but it was for about 5 seconds, and it wasn't during a conversation or any event where I needed to interact with it. So it really wasn't that bad, but that's the first one I've noticed so far. So still seems like they have those issues plaguing them a little bit. But I'll report more on that once I get farther into the second episode. But still really like it if you're a Batman fan, or even just the Telltale fan anyway, you could still get behind this because you don't need to know the Batman character prior to going into this. But at this point, you all should know Batman. But I digress.
Is there an option when you're faced with the multiple options? Is there an option to just brood?
There is actually. So you have normally with Telltale games, if you're not familiar, you have the 4 buttons give you 4 options. The triangle button is always just ... So I've yet to select that as an option yet, but that shows up. I have not seen it not show up once. It's there every single time. So I'm guessing that's his brooding answer. So it is kind of funny because it is there. Other than that, I did play and review Virginia, so that's been up on the site now since Monday, so everybody should have seen that at this point. Geez. So this game kind of dropped on our radar of a couple people on the staff here, and we all kind of got a little excited for it. And I know Kyle's playing it next, as a matter of fact, so we will do a review cast on that down the line, so I won't give away too much detail now. If you read the review, it's an odd game. So it's an FBI kind of crime drama, but there is no dialogue throughout the entire game. There's nothing for you to read. There's no spoken words. There is absolutely nothing. So you're piecing together the story as you play this game based on like the body language of the different characters, the music that's going on, the ambiances, flashbacks and crazy cutscenes. So it definitely plays much more like an interactive movie, similar to these games we talked about before, like Gone Home, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, like those types of games that we've seen and becoming a little more and more popular with the indie crowd. Was kind of left confused at the end of it, but once again I won't spoil it because me and Kyle are going to talk about it later. But much is left to interpretation, and it can be argued, I think, if the game actually has an ending or not. But check out the review on the site. I did have a lot of fun with it. I do recommend it for anybody who likes, ironically enough, good storytelling, even though the game doesn't really tell you the story. You piece it together yourself. It was definitely fun. The second game I played and reviewed on the site, hopefully it will be up tomorrow morning, or if not, by the time this episode drops, is Jazzpunk, Director's Cut. Now, Jason, I know I'd asked you if you had heard about it, because this was originally a PC game from 2014.
Yeah.
Did you actually play any of it, or did you just know of it?
I've never played it. I remember hearing the name, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, and I wanted to look into it. And I remember watching some of the announcement trailers or stuff, and I was like, well, that's something different. And I was like, well, I'll check it out at some point. I just never have gotten to that yet.
There you go. Well, this was another one. Came out the same time as Virginia did. But this one I didn't read any of the story of. I literally just looked at some screenshots of it and was like, that's a really interesting art technique. I kind of dig this. Let me see if we can get a copy to review for the podcast. Lo and behold, we did. So I have that going up shortly. To quote-unquote warn everybody, it is a very strange game, and I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel. You could check out, I posted 2 videos. I did leave out the ending of the game so that I don't spoil some of the craziest stuff that happens for that. Yeah. But it's very odd. It pulls in a lot of inspiration from older games. Well, actually, to go back a little bit, it is an adventure game. You take on the role of Polly Blank, who is a character who's involved in some espionage-type James Bond-esque missions, but it's very, very strange. I had an absolute blast with this game, which you can see reflected in my review score on it. It was a ton of fun. Not for everybody, I warn you, but if you're into strange stuff, for me, like Katamari Damacy and Chibi Robo and WarioWare type games, it definitely pulls some inspiration from those, as well as probably I would say like Ren and Stimpy, ironically enough. I get a lot of feel for that in there too, but it was a ton of fun. Definitely worth playing. It is on PC and PS4, so I recommend that. Other than that, the only other gaming news I have is we talked about this ironically enough in a question a couple weeks back. Somebody emailed us and asked if I pre-order games, and we talked about it. I said I never pre-order games. Well, I pre-ordered 2 games, so I will be getting in, decided to pull the trigger, take advantage of the Amazon Prime discounts, and I will be getting Paper Mario Color Splash on October the 6th, and the other one I did pre-order as well is Watch Dogs 2, so that's my fall lineup, kind of spread up there. Obviously, those 2 games and anything we play and review for the site in between, but my rest of the gaming year is laid out before me now, so
I decided I'm going to play Color Splash.
Okay, cool.
Oh, nice.
So
I'm going to reserve Mario Maker for Christmas. I'm going to play Color Splash. Here's my problem. I am knee-deep in some Forza with Gears of War coming, And I don't know if either of you can answer. I don't think you can, but I don't know if I'm going to get the Call of Duty 4 game or not. Like, so if you pre-order the game, you can play Call of Duty 4, the remaster, 30 days early. But I pre-ordered it physically, so I'm starting to wonder, like, are they going to send me a code to download that?
They might.
Then if they do, can I just cancel my pre-order?
Oh.
Not that I'm going to. I'm not. But it was the first thing I thought of. I was like, there's a lot of people that are going to do that. I thought that maybe the 30 days early was just for digital, but I went and looked at it, and it says all Legacy Editions, which is what I bought. So if I get... I'm going to keep playing Forza, like I'm telling you. Way in it. So I'm going to do that, and then Gears, and then Call of Duty 4, and then Infinite Warfare. I may not get to Color Splash until like Black Friday. Like, it might be a while. So it'll be a week-to-week update.
Yeah, well, I'll get a head start on you because I'm currently working on clearing my plate of gaming stuff so I can get to it right away and hopefully get a review up for the site because we all know it leaked out early for people who had purchased it digitally, so there's been a lot of gameplay, which I've been avoiding.
The reactions are
positive for the most part.
Yeah, they're super positive. I would say super positive. Like, everybody... Apparently, the big thing that everybody really enjoys, and hold on to your hats, is the localization. Everybody says the writing is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's like, the writing is great.
The writing with the Paper Mario games, though, in my opinion, are always good. So that's par for the course. The only slightly negative thing I saw is that there are some similarities to be drawn between this and Sticker Star a little bit. So that concerns me a little. But they all say it looks amazing and it's written well. So
yeah, the director at E3, she was the same. She directed Sticker Star, so they're borrowing a lot of this stuff. But I gave up on Sticker Star.
I did not like Sticker Star. That was probably my least favorite Paper Mario game out of all of them. So
even Wii.
Yeah. I still had a little more fun with the Wii one than I did with Sticker Star, to be honest.
Okay.
I was really, really let down by Sticker Star. But we shall see. I'm excited for this one. Everything I've seen has been positive, and I'm avoiding any gameplay or anything like that from here on out because I don't want to have too much spoiled. So I'll be playing that, and then around my birthday, I'll be playing Watch Dogs 2, and that'll probably take me some time as well because if it's anywhere near as big as the first one, it's going to take a while. So, but it'll be good because, honestly, you look at it this way, I haven't played any big games for me in a while since Fallout, and then the only time I'm going back is just to do the DLC, which... those are great, but they're not as massive as playing the core game itself. So I've been enjoying this little indie time I've had lately. So we shall see. But that's it for us then. So we'll wrap up our intros and weekly check-in, and we're going to dive right into the main topic. So it's going to be all about the 3DS tonight. It has arguably never been a better time to be a Nintendo 3DS owner. We're getting tons of quality games out already, and there's a ton of great stuff coming down the pipeline. So this week we want to take a little bit of time to discuss why we have it and why you should have it already if you don't. And if you are thinking about diving in, we're going to have you all set and prepped to have a great Nintendo 3DS experience. This idea kind of all came from Seth picking up a Nintendo 3DS, and he's been asking a lot of questions of everybody. So he was initially supposed to be here with us, but he couldn't make it because, life gets in the way sometimes. But either way, we kind of wanted everybody to have an experience saying, well, yeah, I want to dive into the 3DS, but I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to get. I don't know what to play. Well, you got 3 people here that have been playing the 3DS for quite some time and can recommend a few things. So let's dive right into it. So let's go with Jason first. Jason, why do you have a 3DS? What's your story on the 3DS? Why did you pick it up? And why do you like it so far?
Okay. Well, I've actually always owned... not always, but I have a history of owning Nintendo handhelds. I didn't have a Game Boy, the original, but I always wanted one. So then when the Game Boy Color came around, that was my jumping on point. So I had one of those. And then when I remember when the DS was announced, I was like, 2 screens? What is this nonsense? Why is Nintendo doing this? But then I was like, well, I want one, and I got one for Christmas. And oddly enough, that was right around the time I think I was finishing high school, starting college, right in there, I think. And it was a really underutilized system for me. I had very minimal games. I had the Mario. I had Mario Kart. I had Meteos, and I had one other game, I think, if that. And then I was using it because you could play Game Boy Advance.
Yep.
On that, so I had a few games on that I would play, but and then I put handhelds to the side, and I'd gotten back, because I've been a Nintendo owner off and on over the years, and then I had the Wii U, and then talking to people, they're like, oh, the 3DS is great, and I kept thinking, like, it'd be kind of nice to have a handheld again, just because it's nice to be able to play something wherever I want. If we could travel, I'm usually doing a bulk of the driving and things like that. So it wasn't for that side of things, and it's not like I commute for work where I don't need to be driving. So,
right.
But it came down to, like, I want to be able to play something. If the wife's watching TV or something like that, I can just flip it open and play it. There's a lot of great games I wanted to check out. Like, I've always wanted to play Animal Crossing. There were some various Zelda games on there that I wanted access to, and it just seemed like a charming little device with, like the Street Pass and that whole side of things with the little games that come with that. It just seemed like something, I don't know, it just seemed like something fun that I wanted to experience. And plus, I mean, the way that the price, I mean, I think it's priced pretty well for especially, you have options. I mean, you have the original, you have the 3DS, you have the 2DS, you have the new 3DS. I mean, so you have different entry points there for whatever you want to get into. So, I mean, I had some birthday money last year, and I was like, well, now's the time. I think what it came down to for me most of all is like Star Fox 64 is one of my favorite games. I was like, I was playing it like on an emulator, on the Dolphin emulator on my PC and stuff. But I was like, I want to play this in a more pure form, and I was like, I need to have Star Fox 64 3D. And I think that was really the driving point for me, is I just wanted to play that game, and that led to my 3DS purchase.
There you go. So for me, it's pretty similar. I've been a lifelong Nintendo handheld guy. I did start with the original one. I'm pretty sure I've owned them all except for like the Micro. I think it's the only Game Boy or Nintendo handheld iteration I did not have. But yeah, I mean, through college it was about time that the 3DS came, not the 3DS, the original DS came out. Prior, my last couple of years in high school and then all throughout college, I was all in on this because I did have to take a couple buses to get to college every day, and then I had downtime in between classes, so I put in some hours on my Game Boy Advance. And when they announced the DS, I was on board for that. And then the 3DS came out, and I don't think I got it. I didn't get it day one, but I got it within the first holiday season of it. Played the heck out of it at first, and then I dropped off for quite some time. And I think the big thing for me was the battery life didn't do so great for me, and the screen size kind of bothered me a little bit. So I put it to bed for a while, but then I think around the same time, Jason, as you bought your new 3DS, is when I purchased mine as well. And I've been playing it a lot, especially lately. The bigger screen size definitely works for me, at least, and the battery life is much, much improved over the last model. So I've been having a ton with it. And like you said, the variety of games that are available is just amazing. And people forget that a lot. I think they put it away as, oh, this is a kid's device, or, you see the little kids walk around playing just Pokemon on it. There's a lot more to it than just Pokemon. And the fact that there at this point is a 3DS, if you will, for everybody with, as you said, the new 3DS XL, the new 3DS, the smaller one, the 2DS. There's tons of options to get everybody playing from the same library.
Don't forget the new Galaxy new 3DS.
I still don't understand that one. But yes, you're right. Can't forget the Galaxy 3DS. I mean, and the price points are great, where realistically you can get a whole family having some iteration of the DS hardware and being able to play all from the same games without dropping, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So it's pretty cool. Donnie, how about you?
I'm very different from both of you. I never owned, well, it's not necessarily true. I didn't really own a portable until the 3DS.
Really?
My aunt had a Game Boy, and at the time I stayed with my aunt for about 6 months that year, and I played a lot of it. I remember playing Tetris, and I remember playing Spider-Man on the Game Boy. And
wow.
I think that's the only game she had. I didn't play Pokemon on Game Boy. And later on when I was in school, people had various Nintendo portables. I can't even tell you which one was which, but I remember people playing Pokemon and stuff. I never had one. It wasn't until I started college, which, I graduated the year before last, so the 2 years before that, so 2013. Sounds about right, actually. Yeah, it wasn't until I started college. I think it was when Link Between Worlds came out. So is that 2013? Sound right? Ish?
It might be even newer than that.
I think it's right around that.
So it was when Link Between Worlds came out. It came out with that special edition 3DS that had the reverse side Triforce, like gold top and black bottom. And I bought that bundle.
Yep, 2013.
At the time, see, good memory there. At the time, I was in college, so I was working my full-time job, 8 to 5, and I was going to night classes on Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday mornings. And I did not have time to play video games at all, because when I wasn't in class or at work, I was doing homework. For a period of time there, I was also scouting football on Friday nights and Saturday nights when I could. And that Zelda game came out, and as a huge Zelda fan that I am, that was the Zelda game. When Ocarina of Time 3D was released, I was like, I don't need to buy a system to play Ocarina of Time. I've beaten that game a few times.
Right.
I don't need to do that. In hindsight, I think that was a mistake. I love that game. The game is best on 3DS, and it's not even close. But when Link Between Worlds came out, I was like, I have to play this game. I remember, I'll never forget, was it GameSpot gave it their Game of the Year? Of all the games that came out, and this is right when all other consoles were dropping, and PS4s and Xbox Ones, GameSpot was like, this is the best game this year. I was like, I have to play it. Oddly enough, it's one of the few Zelda games I've never beaten. But it got me into 3DS, and I do think a lot of the reasons why I never beat it was because on that 3DS XL, before the new one came out, I didn't really enjoy the operating system, but I enjoyed playing games on the go because that's all I really had, and I almost felt at this time I almost got conditioned to playing games this way because I would play before class started. I would play in between classes. I would play when I came home at 10:30 at night, in the bed next to my wife. I would play my 3DS because I couldn't turn on the TV because she's trying to sleep and stuff like that. And I started doing that for 2 years until I graduated. And then all of a sudden I had all this time on my hands and I just kept playing portable games. That's when I got a Vita, and that's when I started playing more 3DS games. Kind of like what Lacey mentioned, I really enjoy playing games while I watch TV.
Yeah.
My wife's addicted to television. She loves TV, man. We just finished The Office yesterday, probably for the 5th or 6th time.
Oh, wow.
We just keep going through stuff over and over again. We've done How I Met Your Mother twice. We just started American Horror Story. She loves television, especially series TV. That is her thing. She loves to sit there and binge watch episodes. And while she does that, I'll sit there and I'll watch. But I'll usually play something on my DS. And I'll turn the volume real low so it doesn't bother anybody. And that's where I get most of my gaming done. I will say in the last 2 years since I've graduated, I'd be willing to bet that 80% of my gaming has been done on a portable console of some kind.
Wow.
Either tablet, phone, 3DS, or Vita. Largely 3DS or Vita because I like buttons. But at some point or another, that's where I'm doing the majority of my gaming. It's very rare. It takes a game like Forza, something like that, to get me to plan out time to take over the TV from the rest of the family and sit there and play something, while they just watch or go do something else. So I do consider myself more now than ever a portable gamer, but I didn't have those experiences with the Pokemon games and really Tetris. Even though I played it, I didn't have it, on my own and could play it for hours. I shared a console, and I literally missed entire generations of handhelds.
Yeah,
but what are you gonna say?
I said, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I don't have any of that lineage, and it's interesting because I'm such a Nintendo fan. I remember is the GBA is the one with the 2 buttons.
The
D-pad A, B?
That had trigger. No, that had triggers.
That's like the the purple one, right? Typically, and it had just the
Yep.
trigger shoulder. Yeah.
Okay, I remember that one, and I remember at the time I had a 360, and I was like, I'm not going to spend any time playing that. I was like, why am I going to play that? I have a 360, but it's such a weird thing to look back, because at that time I had all the time in the world to play games, and I wanted to play them, with a controller on the best TV I could find,
Sure.
with the best game I could find, and now time is probably the most valuable resource that I have, so I try to play them whenever and wherever I can. And those big, gigantic games that stretch the limits of all this technology, I don't have time for. Now I'm more into a Box Boy or some like a smaller experience that I can pop in and out of very quickly and get on about my business.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So what we're going to do from here out then is we're going to give you our top 3 picks of both physical games, meaning ones you can walk into your local Target and GameSpot and pick up, and our top 3 picks for downloadable titles. So your virtual console stuff and your just exclusive download game type situations. We did not confirm our list with each other prior to keep it honest, so there might be some overlap here, but either way we're giving you our individual top 3s in both those categories. So let's start off with the physical, and let's go with Donnie first this time since he got to speak last before. Give us one of your top picks in physical games on the 3DS that everybody who's getting a DS, has a 3DS, or is going to buy a 3DS should be playing.
Okay. If at any point in time you actually thought the NES Mini was something you should buy, stop right now and just go get Ultimate NES Remix for 3DS. I've often thought, I'm one of the younger people here at PSVG, right? That's like the ongoing joke. You guys all think that you're so much older than me because you're like 4 years older than me. I often think I missed out on the NES because I didn't have the NES. I was a SNES kid. I didn't really get into gaming until SNES. NES Remix takes all those old games that people love. So Super Mario Bros., Zelda, Kid Icarus, Punch-Out, what's the other ones? Kirby's on there, Donkey Kong's on there, Balloon Fight's on there. It takes all of them. I would say it takes all the best pieces of them and puts them into bite-sized chunks where you can run through them, get an idea of what the game is about. You complete 10 challenges of that, and then you get this awesome remix version that has all this NES flavor and all like there's like sometimes they have like techno dancing and like balloons and stuff. It's like the best that Mario Maker has to offer, and you get to enjoy all of that, and it's perfect on 3DS. It is perfect for jump in. I'm on the bus. I'm on the subway. I've got 7 minutes. I'm about to go into this meeting, and I'm going to bust out 1 or 2 challenges, and I'm going to close this, put it back in my pocket, and move on about my day. And you can just keep doing that over and over and over again until you complete the game. I love it. It is an absolute must-have for any 3DS owner.
That's a good one. Jason, was that one on your list at all or no?
Oh, it wasn't on my list, actually. I kind of forgot all about it because I want to own that. I do have just the first NES Remix on the Wii U, which
so do I.
I enjoy having it there because honestly, when I play it the most, like I've played it a lot solo, but when I've had it the most fun is like Lucas will come over and then we'll just take turns like trying to beat challenges and insulting each other for our mediocrity. And it's just really fun being able to pass the controller back and forth like that, and that little bit is lost on the 3DS. But if I'm playing it by myself anyway, it's not going to matter. And plus, I really want to. I've heard like, the sequel just takes everything that was good and just it makes it better. And I feel like I feel like you get more like the mashups too of different characters in different games, which I think that's really fun. Where it's like, let's put Link into a Mario game and see what happens.
The Ultimate, in my opinion, it takes the best of both NES Remix 1 and 2 and puts them into a 3DS pack. It's got both. It's got the championship mode from NES Remix 2.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
So the whole Nintendo World Championship spin-off, they had Mario Maker.
Yeah.
They did that in NES Remix 2 with a bunch of those games, and that's in the 3DS version.
No, that's a Nintendo Select title, isn't it? You can get it for $20.
I think,
Yes.
I believe it is.
I actually think Amazon, I bet you can get it for cheaper than that.
Probably less, so I probably have to pick that up. All right, then. So, Jason, give us one from your list then on the physical titles.
I'm gonna go with one that I haven't even played yet, but I just know it's one I've wanted, but I just know it's you need to have it for the console, and that's going to be Super Mario 3D Land.
Okay.
Just because it's it's great Mario platforming and a portable. Judging by Seth's impressions of jumping into it, seems like he had a lot of fun with it. I know Kyle's even gotten back into it. He's been playing it here. And if it's
You're corrupting them,
it's right. And if my experience with 3D World on the Wii U is anything to be, that was my first Mario game in forever. So since Sunshine, really. So, why wouldn't I want that? And on the portable experience, I heard the 3D looks great, and the game just plays solid, and it's one that I have on my to one day own list that just hasn't come to fruition yet.
Was that on your list, Donnie, or no?
It is not on my list.
No.
I tried to pick games that I haven't talked about before.
Right.
Okay.
Sure. That makes sense. All right, then. So I shall go next, and I don't think either of you will have it on your list. I don't think either of you have played it. Maybe Donnie has, but I'm going with Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
I have played it. It made the short list.
Ah, okay. So it's on there. I played the original Luigi's Mansion on GameCube, and that was a launch title for Nintendo GameCube, so that's how far back we're going here. And I did buy it at launch when I picked up my GameCube at a midnight release at a GameStop. And I always loved it. I'd beaten that game over and over and over again. At the time, it was one of the few games that would also get my wife to play. So when they announced this pseudo sequel, if you will, I was like, all right, I need to have this one for sure. And it takes everything that was great with the original Luigi's Mansion, does kick it up a notch, has a little more solidified story to it. And it was just more of the same, but it was okay. Much like Super Mario 3D World is a continuation of 3D Land, I considered this to be a continuation of the original Luigi's Mansion, where it just kind of took the best aspects, made them a little bit better, made them a little more refined, but it was a ton of fun, and it's another Nintendo Select title. I think all three of us now have mentioned Nintendo Select title, so you can get it on a budget, and I did go out and buy it again because I did trade it in after I beat it, but when it came back out as a Select, I was like, all right, I need to get this again because I really want to play it again, and we've heard the rumblings that there may be a Luigi's Mansion on the NX, but for the time being, I need my Luigi's Mansion fix. So, if you play the original, then and you liked it, you're definitely going to enjoy this. If you haven't played the original, it's not for everybody. It's not a traditional Mario game by any means. It's basically Luigi's version of Ghostbusters. So it's more of an adventure exploration type game more than anything, but it's funny. The sound actually is really good on the 3DS if you play with headphones on it. You get a lot of ambient noise and the ghosts popping out and whatnot make for a fun time, but definitely made my list as my first choice for physical then. So we are back to Donnie. Give us number 2 on your list, sir.
Number 2 on my list is Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. And when the game came out, I want to say it sold better than the Wii U version. So this may not be completely true, but I want to say the reception definitely was drowned out or overshadowed by the Wii U. Mm-hmm. The Wii U version of Smash Brothers is the definitive edition.
Sure.
It should be. It's running on a console that has to be hooked to your television.
Right.
It's got all kinds of more power. That said, the portable version of Super Smash Bros. For 3DS is a really good port of that same game. Every character in the same game is available. Most every stage is available. All of the DLC packs and DLC characters and stages are all available on the 3DS version. Smash Brothers is a simple game. Even though, the best in the world, can study frames and it's all about timing, it is still a one-stick, two-button fighter. And it plays and performs just as well on 3DS as it does on Wii U. You can even play the Wii U version using your 3DS as a controller.
That's right. Yeah.
If there's any, hesitation that it plays poorly on 3DS, it doesn't. It is more or less the same version of the game, and considering how different in spec and power the Wii U and 3DS is, I can only say it should be propped up and it should be applauded. I love playing it. Now, the single player mode is this. It's different. It has its own single player mode where you do these platforming challenges to race and get bonuses. So you get like plus 10% on attacks or plus 10% on defense and plus whatever on special items, and then you go into a battle over the other one. But the Wii U mode doesn't even have a single player mode.
Yeah.
It more or less just has you challenge other fighters, which you can do in exhibition. So in that instance, it actually could be a leg up. I just think everything that it pulls off, and it pulls it off really well. When I say really well, the first thing that hits me is that Final Fantasy VII stage where the world is like being destructed by fire and water and lightning and all that. Yeah. All of that is there on 3DS, and it looks great. It's a really good port. It might be one of the best ports I've ever played of any game. And I just wanted to make sure it got on the list and got some airtime. Right now you can get Super Smash Bros. And a 2DS for $100. And that's a really good $100 well spent.
I'll say that's a good deal. Was not on my list, but that's only because I had not played it other than the demo. So I wouldn't want to have it take up a spot on, at least not on my list. Jason, was it on your list?
It was potentially on my list. Again, a game I don't own, but I have the Wii U version. I love Smash Brothers. Right. I can't,
Same.
If I feel like it'd be too much of a duplicate purchase for me. Otherwise, I would own it for my 3DS. Yeah, I agree. It needs to be. It definitely belongs. It's a good addition to a must-have list.
Definitely. I mean, it's the only Smash game that you can walk around with. I'd say it's the best fighting game you can walk around with. I think it's better than Street Fighter on 3DS. It's better than PlayStation All-Stars on Vita, hands down. I mean, I've played them all. I mean, it's just my opinion, but I've played all of them, and I'm not the best fighter. I mean, if you're asking the best fighting game people here at PSVG, I think Kevin and Jason are the better, at least of the three, but probably the best on staff. But I do enjoy fighting games. I really like Smash. It's great Nintendo nostalgia. I love booting up, Hyrule Castle and getting 4 or 5 characters together and just like raining chaos on the screen as I sit back and just enjoy it. The idea that you can walk around with that in your pocket is pretty amazing.
Just the soundtrack on that game alone.
Oh,
I know.
Amazing soundtracks. So good. But yeah, definitely should be on everyone's list. So then, Jason, what's number 2 on your physical list?
I'm going to go with a game that we've already talked about tonight, and that's Link Between Worlds. I think that is just a fantastic game to experience on the 3DS. I really enjoyed the 2D, what do I want to call it? The painting, where you, at least when Link can turn into, you can walk in.
Yeah, he turns into the artwork.
Yeah, he turns into like a painting, and you can walk along on the walls, and that's the main mechanic to traverse, to unlock secrets and transport between was it Hyrule and Lorule, and it was a great game, and I guess having played a lot of good memories of playing Link to the Past as a kid, this game feels a lot like Link to the Past Remix. It's got the same overworld. It's got like a lot of the same music that's been redone. That was just awesome to hear, and I had a lot of fun with it. It changes up the typical Zelda formula where you have access to all the items at once. You can do the dungeons in any order if you want. It just was really cool to be able to do that. It was a cool, fun experience. I mean, the game looks good too, and having played Triforce Heroes first and then going to play this, Triforce Heroes did take like almost all its assets from this game. But it's a fun Zelda game. Some of the puzzles are a little obtuse, but I had a lot of fun with it. It helped that I had it from GameFly, so I had that incentive to get it finished within a month's time before my subscription ran out. But I had a blast with it, and I just recommend it. I think it's a great addition to the 3DS as making it a handheld Zelda console, so to speak. I mean, there's so many Zelda games on top of this one that you can play, and for that reason alone, it's on my list.
There you go. Donnie, I'm assuming this one was not on your list. Would that be correct?
It wasn't. I mean, it's the game that got me to buy a 3DS.
Right.
But no, I didn't make my short list. I don't know what it is about that game. I don't even want to say I don't like it because I'm still playing it. It's just it doesn't have hooks in me. I don't have any urge to finish it. I don't feel like I need to complete it. I feel like I've seen what that game has to see. I do think that it makes me a little concerned about Breath of the Wild. I think everybody here on staff, I am probably the more what I would term casual gamer. I like the linear games that have a set path.
Right.
I like following and experiencing a story as you laid it out for me. And the whole, I'm going to set you free in this world and let you do whatever you want, isn't exactly appealing to me unless there's like a gameplay loop there that I can really get into. Like what I would use for an example is like Xenoblade. Xenoblade's a completely open world game. You can go wherever you want, but there's a loop there of going out, killing the machines and animals, and coming back and doing it over and over again that I find fun. Link Between Worlds didn't have that. This week, actually, I didn't really talk about it in our intro because I didn't play it enough to really qualify it, but I played The Witcher for the first time. I finally played it. I bought it a week ago. I got stuck in a well. I read like a book, seriously, like 8 pages of a book about a story where I was supposed to sit next to this well and wait for this witch to show up.
Yeah,
but she only shows up at like a certain time of day.
Yep.
And I was just like, this is too tedious. Like there's no way I'm ever gonna play any of this. And I just deleted it. I just gave up. I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that to you. I thought it had something to do with a certain time of day when you were bringing it up, but you can advance time, or you could just sit there and rest.
See, I didn't
for
even
X
know
amount of
that.
hours.
See, I need a little more hand holding, and it comes back to that. It comes back to the portability. I don't have the time for this.
Yeah,
I don't have the time to just go around and lift up every rock. Like I need you to kind of urge me along. I need that progression. At least for me, I feel like I need it. I need to feel like I'm gaining something. For everything that I said earlier about Forza. Everything you do in that game, like if you jump a hill or if you go real fast or whatever, you earn these points in like this arcade pachinko kind of like advancing. You always feel like you're doing something, even if you're not doing anything at all. And for me, that's the addictive hook that I need to keep going. And in Link Between Worlds, most of the time I've explored the entire map. Like I've walked everywhere that I can walk. I've done maybe half of the dungeons. I feel like I've just done it all. Now it kind of feels like, because I've seen everything new, I mean, and tell me if I haven't. If there's something that I'm missing, tell me, and maybe I'll go back. But because I think I've seen everything new already, I don't really feel any urge to finish it, because I'm like, I'm just going to keep doing more of the same over and over again.
Yeah, it is, and I think, Jason, this was on my short list, but it didn't make the final list. I actually made room for it for a different Zelda title I'll bring up in a minute. I think Jason and I's fondness for A Link to the Past probably helps with this a little bit, but if you're just dropped off, this is a very different game.
I'd rather play Link to the Past, which I've already started on 3. Like that also is one of the more important things. I'm like, I'd rather just play A Link to the Past.
Right. Yeah. It was, as Jason put it, this is more like Link to the Past remix, where it feels the same, but it's not the same. And I think that's why the two of us at least, probably had an easier time digesting the game and going through. If you didn't have that experience or fondness for the old one prior to playing this, it can throw you off, and it's kind of weird. You're saying like, okay, well, I'm here, and you're telling me I can go do the last dungeon right now if I want to, and then go do the quote unquote easiest dungeon. It seems a little weird, but I think it's different for somebody who experienced the old one.
And I'm
a great game nonetheless.
I'm much the same like Donnie too. I don't typically like open world stuff where I can just do whatever sandbox stuff. That's usually involves me like doing nothing because I'm just overwhelmed. But I just had like the dungeons themselves. I just had a lot of fun playing the various dungeons in this game, and that was like what got me through it. Because every night it's like, okay, I'm going to do this dungeon, and then I'd be like, nope, I'm doing another one yet tonight, and I could just close the 3DS and then pick it up the next day right in the same spot. And it was my first experience, like one of my first. It was like playing a game like this on that on the handheld. So I think that kind of led to the experience a little more too. So.
Not to sound like the world's biggest detractor, but I want to credit it this. I do think Link Between Worlds, I've often said, I think it's the hardest Zelda, even like above Majora's Mask, because that whole puzzle into the wall mechanic, I mean, they really make some really great puzzles out of that. And there were several times where I was stumped and had to look for outside resources to figure out what I was doing. I was like, I don't know where to go anymore. I've explored all of this space and I'm stumped, and it's like, oh, you've got to get to this platform and then get on the wall and then find this crack in the wall and then go around the building. I mean, there's some stuff there. It's really obtuse. Also, the game is beautiful.
Oh, it is.
The art style is great, and it looks perfect in 3D. It's the perfect, what I would call like the mix between 3D. Like some games overdo it. I think the 3D Mario Land, I do think it overdoes it at times. Like it's definitely, they use Mario to try and showcase the 3D, where I think the Zelda Link Between Worlds definitely like just gives it the added pop. Like when you just touch that 3D slider, everything just comes into focus really well. So I'll give it credit on both of those stands.
There you go. So my second choice, as I said, I have a different Zelda title on this, and it's one I've played recently, and I'm very hooked on it, and that is Hyrule Warrior Legends. So it's not your typical Zelda game at all. It's basically a Dynasty Warriors game with Zelda skins thrown on top of it. When this came out, I was like, oh, this seems kind of cool, but I don't know. I think I'm going to hold off on it. And I rented the Wii U version from the library and only got to play it for a very small amount of time before I had to go back, unfortunately. But I was like, this seems pretty cool, whatever. But the more and more it picked at me, I was like, I think I'm going to pick up the 3DS version and try it. And honestly, I've been floored by it. There is just so much going on. It's impressive that this is contained within a handheld. And I mean, I've been playing it like every single lunch break at work for the last couple weeks, and it seems like I've barely scratched the surface of what the game actually has. Each mission will take you about an hour depending on the mission or so, and it just seems like there's so much content in here that I feel the money was definitely justified for this game. Looks great at times. There are certain times you can tell they got a little bit lazy, but some of the cutscenes look like console quality graphics there. The soundtrack, as in all Zelda games, is amazing. You have the familiar overtone themes, but it's remixed a little bit. And it's just fun to play as the different characters in the Legend of Zelda universe that you don't necessarily get to play except in, Smash Brothers. And they work much differently here. And it's kind of cool they're uniting all the different versions of the Zelda Link games throughout the timeline. So you have, Twilight Realm overflowing with regular Hyrule, and then the Toon versions of these guys are going to pop up down the line, and it's just really cool to see how they put it all under one big story umbrella, and I'm tying it all together too. So I am absolutely loving this game, and I, as long as this continues for me in this pattern, I'm going to go back and I'm going to buy the DLC for sure on this one, just because it's just done so well, and it's just a different Zelda experience, but it still feels very much like Zelda. And it's just fun to run around the screen and fight hundreds and hundreds of enemies, and get a kill count of over 3,000 in one mission just because of the hordes of stuff coming at you. But I absolutely love this game. I can't say enough about it, so that's why it was definitely on my list. And it's funnier because the rest of my list is all stuff that I've been playing for a while or had played a while ago, and this was probably the most recent title on my list. So anybody else have it on the list? I'm going to say no. I know Jason hasn't played it, so I don't think it's on yours. And Donnie, I'm going to assume it's not on yours either.
It's not on mine, not because I don't think it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just because I've reviewed it and talked about it so
Right.
long. I'm really happy to hear that you're enjoying it as somebody that's bought all the DLC and I've played most of the adventure maps and the Linkle story. I mean, you're absolutely right. That game is just bursting at the seams with content.
Yeah.
I really hope they keep that series going. I hope this is something that, isn't a one and done because the Wii U life cycle didn't sell well.
Yeah.
I really do, because it is... I liked Dynasty Warriors games back when I had a PS2.
Sure.
And they were, like, awesome.
Yeah.
But fast forward 10 years, and people are like, oh, God, I'm tired of these. It's like the same thing over and over again. And literally just taking Hyrule stuff and putting it on that doesn't sound like a major change, but if you've never played it, it's an incredible change. It changes the whole dynamic of that gameplay mechanic when you put these characters that people like know and love and have some resonance with, and the way they use the environments. You go to the water temple and the lake and Goron Mountain and all that. I mean, it's just it's so good.
It's just a matter of I think the Dynasty Warriors, one of the things that was always kind of lacking was the story. There was one in all the Dynasty Warrior games, but it didn't really grab you. But now that you have these characters and for most people absolutely love, it just adds so much more to it. And then there are new characters not in the normal Zelda realm, at least not to my knowledge, that are introduced in this game as well, that fit right in as if they had always been there and just add more to it. I mean,
I hope they're in I hope they're in Breath of the Wild. I was actually just about to go there.
I mean,
they have Sia and other folks that come through, and it's
the Lana character, she's great, and I mean, she wasn't in anything prior. And Linkle, as much as the first time they showed Linkle, I'm like, are you serious?
Everybody was like that.
But after playing this game, I'm like, she needs to be in a game, because
Linkle versus Smash, man. I'm driving that bandwagon. Linkle better be in the next Smash, or I'm gonna lose it.
It's a great character. She's not just a female Link by any means. Totally different, unique character, unique combat system that I would love to see utilized again. And I've only done, I think, like 3 or 4 of her missions because I know, Donnie, you probably played Linkle's missions after you'd already experienced the story because she came later. Or
I did the entire game on Wii U, plus the first adventure map, and then when the 3DS version was announced, I bought the 3DS version, did the entire campaign, 2 adventure maps, and then got to Linkle's story, and then went and did 2 more adventure maps.
Gotcha.
The adventure maps, Lacey, are you familiar with the adventure maps? Like, do you understand?
I think I am from just like reading up on it when the game first came out. Because I mean, I've only played maybe like the first handful of missions on the Wii U version.
I do feel like the adventure maps is probably the most maybe misunderstood part of the game. Like when I try to explain to people the adventure maps, I don't feel like it comes across. The adventure maps is like you feel this overworld that is very much like Zelda 1. So you just like kind of look at this map and you can kind of go from grid to grid. Each grid has like a challenge. It's more or less a challenge mode. Yeah. Where it drops you into this area in the game and it's like, all right, you got a minute to kill 100 people. Or you got to go and unlock this in 3 seconds. Or you got to kill 1,000 people in 10 minutes. And that's all it is. It is perfect for mobile. Yeah. It is perfect for 3DS because that game can offer you 100 hours of content if you just play the adventure maps. Yeah. And then every time you unlock a grid, you get a new item to unlock another grid. And I mean, it totally has that mobile hook that and that really got me on 3DS. And I would say I'm a little harder on it because of its textures. Sure. You know, they definitely took some shortcuts. Yeah. And a lot of the icons and menus and stuff look bad. But the gameplay is still there, and the core of it is there. I would never play adventure mode. I remember when I got Hyrule Warriors for Wii U, I played the snot out of that game for like the first 2 weeks. I played adventure map maybe 1 hour, and I was like, this is stupid. I'm not going to sit here and do this over and over again. But when you're on a 3DS and you're like in the passenger seat of the car, you're like, yeah, it's stupid, but what else am I going to do? Yeah,
it's hard to do it. It's hard to do one of the regular levels because they're, like I said, they're around an hour, 40 minutes to an hour to complete the average normal level. So if you're just on a short car ride to the grocery store and you got like 10 minutes, you can bang out a couple adventure maps. But exactly. The main story.
The problem with trying to do that on the Wii U is you have these other better options. You're like, well, I could do an adventure map where I'm doing the same thing over and over again, or I could play, 30 minutes of Xenoblade or 30 minutes of Tokyo Mirage Sessions or something else. You can get on to something newer. But on the 3DS, you're like, well, I can, you can't like jump into a new dungeon and Link Between Worlds of Ocarina of Time, but you can totally knock out, a grid on your adventure map. It's really perfect for 3DS, and I really hope they keep it going because it is a great addition. I want to say I think it's probably my second most played game on 3DS. Yeah. And while you guys talk, I'll check it.
Okay. So then in this case, Donnie, you're supposed to be next, but while you're checking it then, we'll jump to Jason. Why don't you give us your last physical title on your list of 3DS games?
This is difficult because I don't, I'm going back and forth on it, but I do want to be at least truthful on like games I've actually owned instead of keep saying, well, I don't have this one yet. So I for that point, I am going to go with Animal Crossing New Leaf as
I knew you were going to do
my third and final choice, just because, oddly enough, I've never have played an entry in the series. I thought about getting it back on the GameCube, but I don't think I knew, like, what it was exactly. Yeah. Yep. And then, having time to watch the series develop and things like that, then I was like, okay, this sounds, more up my alley. And I think now, too, I'm at a point in life where having a game where I can just, there isn't really a goal. I can just do whatever, but I can just pick it up and play, anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes and accomplish something and then move along. That's great. I can play it in little bite-sized installments like that. It's got all this crazy charm with, the villager that you are and all the inhabitants of your town. They all have these unique personalities, and learning all the other villagers that other people have known, with your KK Slider, your Tom Nooks, your Timmy Nook, all these other characters everyone already known, seeing why that's been so important to people because they just have it's just a charming, little game. Yep. And now is like the perfect time because you've got all this new functionality. They're actually updating the game. We've got some new mobile game in the series coming.
Yep. I mean, you got the holidays coming up too, which in my opinion is the best time to play Animal Crossing because if you're not familiar with the game, overall it does run off the internal clock, so it functions with the seasons.
Yeah.
The holidays are actually holidays. You got Halloween coming up in Animal Crossing, which is a lot of fun. You have the Harvest Festival, which is their quote-unquote Thanksgiving, and then you got Christmas, so there's going to be a lot going on in this game for Q4 of this year, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. This actually, Jason, is my third pick as well on my list. So,
there you go.
I knew we had to have some overlap, but yeah. I've loved the series. I've played every iteration of it. I did start with the GameCube one, which in my opinion, before New Leaf, that was the best version, only because you also had... I mean, the gameplay has kind of essentially been the same. They've added little tweaks things throughout the different series, but the coolest thing in the original that they never did again was you had the ability to get the NES in the original GameCube game.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
You'd be able to play ROMs of Super Mario, of Legend of Zelda, of Kid Icarus, and Punch-Out, and you're able to play those inside of the game too, which was really cool. But yeah, I mean, I've always been a big proponent of Animal Crossing, played every single one of the series, and New Leaf is the best version of the game now, with the GameCube one long put to bed. But yeah, it's a great game, much better. Don't, skip Wild World if you're like, well, get the DS version, it's the same game. No, don't. Just don't. New Leaf is a great game, as Jason said. You can play it in little chunks and still accomplish something. You can play with up to 4 people in the same house playing on this game because you can each move into your village. Just one of you have the role of mayor, but everybody else still contributes the same way and plays the same game and experiences the same town. Yeah, it's just a great mellow game that I think everybody can play. I mean, you can have older folks playing it. Obviously, Jason and I are playing it. We're on the same age, and then my kids play it, and they're now 10 years old and 12 years old. So it's just something the whole family can enjoy. It's good, clean fun, if you will. But Donnie, was this the third option on your list or no?
It was not the third option on my list, but I will tell you it's the third most played game I've played on my 3DS.
Hey, there you
I've
go.
logged 43 hours.
Oh, nice.
My Animal Crossing New Leaf world. I still don't think I know what that game is.
It's a life simulator.
Jason's comments.
Right now, it's Harvest Bells. Harvest Bells. That's all I do.
Yep.
Got to build the street lamp. Let's go.
Yep.
But to provide an update, I played 109 hours of Mario Golf World Tour, 77 hours of Hyrule Warriors
Nice.
for 3DS.
You brought that up. Here's an off-the-wall question, Donnie. Well, I'll ask it later. I'll let you go to your third pick first.
I say you ask it now.
I was going to say, is it worth my time, do you think, because I've been interested in Mario Golf for a while, but I wonder if is it worth my time to pick up Mario Golf, or do I wait for the new sports game that's coming?
Pick up Mario Golf. The new sports game will have golf. They'll lift all the same assets that they have and all that jazz, but it won't be as fully featured. Mario Golf, I didn't put Mario Golf on my list, so I'll take a minute to tangent it, but I want to say...
I thought for sure I was going to make
So here's the thing. When you said the list, I didn't want to talk about Mario Golf or Ocarina of Time because I've spent so many minutes of the PSVG podcast talking about them, so I wanted to pick other games.
Fair enough.
Mario Golf offers... Especially if you buy the DLC. So you buy the game. I don't know if it's a select or not. I think the game's $30. You buy the DLC.
It's not a select yet, at least.
You buy the DLC. It's $15. You can probably get the game used for $15. You probably get all of it for less than $30. If you buy all of it, which I did day one because I'm a huge golf fan, Hot Shots. Everybody knows that already. You get it almost expands the game almost twice as much. So you get 7 additional courses, and the characters I don't care about because I play as my Mii golfer the whole time anyway. But the thing about the game is the golf mechanic is really good, and it's really apt for mobile. You can play a few holes, you can play a tournament, you can play a match, you can move on. There's also the online functionality that the game offers, which is you don't have to be all together at the same time. So I could start let's say everybody on the PSVG staff got Mario Golf. I could start a Mario Golf tournament. You all could play around over 2 weeks, and we could have a tournament. You don't all have to be there together to play at the same time. Nintendo runs weekly tournaments every week that you can play in. So you kind of have that online functionality where you can go and test your skills against the best of the world. My claim to fame is I actually won one of their world tournaments. I think it was one that didn't get played a lot, but I actually won one of them. I don't think I've placed in any other ones. But there's also a really good challenge menu. And I believe there's 80 coins. I only got 72 of them so far. And it took me a long time to get those 72, like a year. And I had to do some YouTubing where you have to like skip balls across waters and hit them through rings in the air. All the Mario Golf stuff that you'd anticipate, all the arcade action. So you have this challenge menu on top of the regular golf play, stroke play, match play, character unlocks, plus the tournaments, plus the online functionality. And I mean, for $40, man, like there's just a lot of game there. And it's made by Camelot. Camelot Games makes the Mario Golf games. They're the same people, I believe, that made the GameCube version, I think. And it's really good. It's really polished. It looks great. It's one of the best looking 3DS games by far. It has all of the assets that you'd expect. There's a Donkey Kong course. There's a Bowser course. The Yoshi's course looks like it's ripped right from Yoshi's Woolly World. Like everything's knitted together.
Oh, wow.
It's got yarn and stuff. Oh yeah, I really love it. Like I said, 100 hours plus into it, and I still play it because it's great it's just mindless, Kind of, I would say maybe similar to Kevin in Animal Crossing. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel that way in Animal Crossing. I just kind of jump in and do the same stuff. You're not really trying to do anything. You just enjoy playing. But there's more of a gameplay because you're actually playing golf and you've got this 3-click stroke mechanic, and you're actually trying to beat other people's scores. But especially if you can get somebody to play with. And you guys know me. I'm always down to play some Mario Golf. My third game, because I wanted to highlight it, like I said, I didn't involve the other ones, was Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. Now, this game is what I would call the best platformer Nintendo has made since Mario 64.
Wow.
I still haven't beaten it. It's really hard. For those that don't know, this was actually a Wii game. And it was ported to 3DS early on in the life cycle because it came out on Wii. It didn't sell well because it was kind of towards the Wii U's in cycle. Or, I mean, not the Wii U, the Wii's in cycle. Yeah. And it was really hard on Wii because it had motion controls and people didn't like it, so they didn't buy it, and people had moved on by then. And it comes to 3DS, and it's still really hard. They do have an easy mode that is still challenging.
Yeah.
I feel bad even saying I'm playing on the easy mode because it makes it sound like it's super easy. It's not. I've died a lot. But the 3DS version has an extra world, 8+ levels. The graphics look great, and it's just a really great platformer. It's really good. It's that old school platformer where, if you miss, you'll die. If you're not right on time with the world, you're going to die. Like, it's not Mario. You can't just kind of fumble and walk your way through. Like, you better pick up the speed and get with it, or you're not going to make it. And I just really enjoy it. I think Donkey Kong, because of the success of Mario, is often forgot. And if there's any Donkey Kong game that you have to play, it's definitely Donkey Kong Country on 3DS.
Excellent. I have played it as well, and have not beaten it either. Didn't care for it as much as you did, but it is definitely cool. So I can totally see how that would be on your list there. So that brings us to the end of the physical. So we're going to run down quickly our downloaded versions of the games. We don't need to get too much in detail on these, I don't think, but we definitely want to make sure we mention them as well. So, Jason, back to you then. What is one of your downloaded recommendations?
I feel like this one might be I'm stealing from someone, but I got to go with Shovel Knight.
Didn't make my list.
Oh!
I thought it would.
I thought for sure it was going to. Wow.
It's great. It's a great game.
Yep, just captures that retro feel, especially, of games, and with the new, modern twists, and it's a great game.
I agree. Donnie, what's one from your list then?
3D Streets of Rage.
Ooh.
This comes from the Sega 3D Classics. Something about that SNES and Genesis, I've said it before on this podcast, I'm going to keep saying it. If you haven't seen a SNES or Sega Genesis game in 3D, they're the perfect game for that. Something about that art style, it makes those games pop. Streets of Rage 3D and Streets of Rage 2, I mean, those games they're beautiful. They are beautiful on 3DS. Absolutely beautiful to stare at. Fun to play, just as fun as they used to be. You can beat the game in a day. I think I beat the first one in 5 hours, the second one in like 6 hours. So they're great and they're cheap. Definite must-haves.
Excellent. Totally copping out with my first one here. I would bet if I were to put a gun to one of your heads, you would probably see it coming from a million miles away. But my first one is a Virtual Console title known as Earthbound. So, no secret my love for this game here. Played it so many times, and it's still fun. And I think it's even better on a handheld because you can just pick it up, play it as you go. If you're not familiar with it, it is a JRPG style game from the SNES days. But yeah, it just makes for a perfect translation for a nice little handheld game. Graphics look actually even better with the pixel perfect mode. It looks even better on the 3DS than it did on the SNES back in the day, but it still holds up, I think. The story's still funny, and it inspired a slew of games that are out now at this point, so definitely worth your money on there from me. So, Jason, what's next on your list?
I'm going to say that it's kind of one on my list because I was just going to go with leaving it generic with any of the SNES VC titles, just because I think it's still great to have them on the 3DS, and they look great. The pixel perfect mode. How many games are available now? There's like 9 or something like that. I don't remember.
There's more than that. There's more than that. Yeah.
So
I was actually, when you said how many are available, I wanted to tell you I've got. Oh, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 of them on my 3DS alone.
So there you go. So I just think any one of those titles I think is great to have on the 3DS, whether that be Link to the Past or Super Mario World or F-Zero or anything from that list. I think it's all interchangeable.
It's pretty incredible to be able to walk around with a Super Nintendo in your pocket.
Or a Nintendo 64 in some aspects.
I do think that of all the games, all generations of gaming, I think SNES holds up the best.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't know what it is about that art style, but those games are as good today. Super Mario World is as good today as it has ever been.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing lost or gained. It is just amazing today, just as it was 20 years ago or 20. I don't even know how long ago it was. It's just that they're incredible, and to be able to walk around and play them is just such a treat. Now, you do need the new 3DS to be able to do
it.
So
yeah, that's right. We gotta
for those of you that don't have it, upgrade your hardware. It's worth it.
That's true. So, not anything specific, Jason? You're just saying the entire.
Yeah, I'm just going with the whole library. Yeah, because I think it's just great to have that there.
Fair enough. Donnie, then, what's next on your list?
That saves me from trying to weasel some stuff in. I'm going to go with Pokemon Yellow or Red or Blue. Doesn't matter. But for those of you who don't know, the original Pokemon trilogy is available on the new 3DS. It's on the old any 3DS, right? Yeah.
Yes,
any
it's on all of
3DS.
them.
My kids have the 2DS versions. It took me a minute. I like the Pokemon games. I won't say I love them. They're not my favorite games in the world, but the original trilogy are some of my favorite games in the world because they're not trying to live up to everything. The new games, they've got, pet your Pokemon mode and give them treat mode and online this and battle mode that and
12 different versions of evolutions.
Exactly. Let's get down to basics and let's give you an awesome RPG where you get to take this boy who leaves his mom at an incredibly young age and travels out to become the best Pokemon trainer in the world. And it's just a great video game, and you can play it on your 3DS. It still holds up. I got the yellow version because I don't need the little color version. I actually think the black and white monochrome is fantastic, and I still really enjoy it. I got my first 5 badges in Pokemon Yellow before I moved on to other things, but it is on my gaming to-do list before the end of the year to finish that Pokemon Yellow version and become the greatest of all.
Got to be the very best, Donnie.
The very best.
Like no one ever was.
That's right.
We made that joke too many times already in the show. So my second one on my list, I'm picking one from Jason's very general second answer, and I'm going to tell you should play A Link to the Past on your Virtual Console specifically.
Boom.
As one of my picks there. It's tough for me to say if it's 100% my favorite. It kind of... I think I want to say it's a tie with Ocarina of Time for me as my favorite Zelda games. I mean, they're just two separate beasts when you break it down. But I think Link to the Past was a great story. It was a long game for SNES at the time. It was early in the SNES life cycle too, so we were used to NES games, which were relatively short, or you could beat the whole thing in one sitting with those games. And this was one of the first games that it was going to take you quite some time to get through. It had a great story, and it just kind of inspired pretty much all the Game Boy Advance games down the line, and the Nintendo 3DS titles, where they all kind of took a page out of that book for a while until getting to the more recent iterations. But it just inspired a generation of gamers, I think, and it's a great title that I think it's like $7 or $7.99. So it's a lot of content, and it holds up very well still to this day. So then, Jason, your last digital pick, if you will, sir.
All right. If I look through my library and I think of the cost to entertainment ratio, or look at my logs for games, I think the one thing that stands out for the steal of a price I got it at, which I think was it was on sale, so I think I got it for it was like $2, and that's Box Boy.
All right, I've got 2 tabs open. I was dying for one of you to pick one of them.
Because I mean, for what the price of that game is, and then how many levels there are in that, just the value is through the roof on that, and it's just a fun game. It looks what you think is really simple, and it starts off being fairly simple, like puzzle design and navigating through the levels. But then you get to some of those further on levels, and it really kind of cranks up the difficulty a little bit, especially how you have to maneuver and place things. And a couple times I felt like that I was glitching the game, and that was the only way I was getting through this. And it's like, well, am I supposed to be doing it that way, or did I just find some loophole? And then there's the whole challenge. There's the challenges as well you can go back and do and get it to go through and play through as well. And I'm sure Box Boy, while not a really greatly named sequel, I'm sure delivers more of the same content as well. So I mean, I Donnie had talked about it numerous times, and I think that's what kind of helped me hedge my bets on that decision. But I just had, it was well worth the purchase. It's more than fairly priced, and just a ton of content that you get on one little tiny package.
There you go. So, Donnie, what was your other pick then? I don't think it's going to be the same as me. So,
my other pick was SteamWorld Dig.
Nope.
I was torn between the two of them, and SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Heist still hasn't come out physically, so it counts.
Yep. Absolutely.
And SteamWorld Dig is the best Metroid game that has ever been made. And I can say that because I played Super Metroid and didn't like it as much as SteamWorld Dig. SteamWorld Dig is great. You can dig your way through this mine. You can literally skip all kinds of upgrades and everything if you're that good at video gaming. Or you can play it the Metroid way, where you dig down as far as you can, find the stuff that you need, come back up, turn it in, get new stuff, keep digging further, and just keep doing it. It's so at home on a portable. I don't care if you're playing on 3DS or Vita. Both of the portables, this is the way to play this game. It's available on all consoles. I have to say, there's not a better way to spend, to get some gaming in while you're watching a TV show than playing SteamWorld Dig. It is completely mindless. You just keep digging and digging and digging. You find something, you just come back up, turn it in, get some money, buy something else, go back down, do it again. You just keep doing it over and over again. But there's something about that loop that is so good. It is so good. I can only think that maybe Lacey's hesitation to heist might have something to do with just how good SteamWorld Dig was. I love that game. That was probably the game that got me into portable gaming more than anything else. I can't tell you how many nights I've been sitting on the couch watching some TV show or another, just digging away, just digging SteamWorld Dig.
Button pressing simulator.
Exactly. I mean, it's just fun. It's very rewarding, especially when you pull off something you feel like you didn't need to, something you didn't have to, something you didn't think you could.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I got that water pack and could really jump. I was like, oh my God, it's going to change everything I've done about this game. It's just really fun. I really enjoy it. So SteamWorld Dig deserves to be on this list. I would say not even just digital titles. This is one of the best 3DS games you can get, period.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I just had a coughing fit, so I muted my mic.
That's all right.
So my last game, I think all three of us have played this. is Shantae and the Pirate's Curse.
Oh, I thought
Got
about
that new theme out today.
Oh, was there a new theme?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had not played any of the previous Shantae games before, but I got this in the Nindy bundle that they did. It was over the summer, beginning of the summer. And I had a lot of fun with this. It's a very much like a Metroidvania type game in the gameplay. Very Japanese with its character design. I'll leave it at that. So that part was a little weird, but as far as the content of the game, I think the levels were designed very well. You had to think. It's very much a thinking platformer. It's not just always get from one end to the other. There's a lot of backtracking. There's a lot of who do I talk to do this later on, and you'll be 7 stages in, but have to go back to stage 1 in order to do something now to affect the other stages. So I just think it was a very cool mechanic, and I hadn't played any of the others, so I can't say if they're all that good, but I did enjoy this one, and it definitely has me interested in seeing what comes down the line for more games like that. So, but that was on my list.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game.
I showed my wife the Shantae and the bubble bath scene on my 3DS, and she was like, "You need to go play that somewhere else." So,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand it because it doesn't fit with the tone of the game per se.
I love it. Well, then you won't like the new theme.
Oh,
You definitely won't like the new theme. I like it. I don't mind it.
The Shantae, the bikini theme or something like that, I think it's called.
right.
So.
Cutest video game character to date. Let's get her in. What's that volleyball game?
Dead or Alive beach volleyball.
Dead or Alive.
Let's get her in that, and let's get her in Smash. I need more Shantae.
All right, now that we've officially creeped out our audience, we're going to wrap up our discussion on the must-have, or the 3DS starter pack, if you will, presented by PSVG. When this episode does post, you can hop over to the website, and we will have links to all these games and to our full list in case you weren't writing along as we were bringing them up. But these are what we consider as the Nintendo aficionados of the staff that you should be playing on the 3DS, or if you're going to get a 3DS, you must play them. So that brings us to the end of our conversation this week, gentlemen. But before we go, is there anything we'd like to plug prior to departure, if you will? Donnie, I will throw it to you first.
Just some. I wanted to cover some news. The PlayStation Plus games lineup was announced. You're getting the Resident Evil remake and Transformers Devastation on PS4. You're also getting Mad Riders from Dust on PS3. Code Realize, Guardian of Rebirth, whatever that is, on PS Vita, and Actual Sunlight, whatever that is, on PS Vita. But I think the big point to take here is you're getting 2 really good, I guess, games on PS4. You're getting at least 2 games that most people really, if you don't already have them, would want to have them on PS4.
Yeah, they're
and
decent.
that's a bonus considering where PlayStation Plus has been. So I'll definitely be getting into some Resident Evil for Halloween.
Yeah, I want to see how much has changed. I believe that this port is a version of the PC port that was done later, after the GameCube remake, if you will. I had played the GameCube remake, obviously, and absolutely loved that update, so I'm interested to see how much better or different it looks now, but I'll definitely be playing that. And this Transformers game, this was the only recent Transformers game I actually hadn't played. I did play the 2 Cybertron games that came out prior on the PS3 and enjoyed those. And I know this is a different feel, but it's a throwback to one of my favorite franchises growing up as a kid. So while it was never going to be a title I was going to pick up at $60 for a PlayStation Plus title, I'm very excited. So I'll be all in on both of these, I'm sure.
Because I'm not on every week, I don't know if the Xbox One titles were discussed. But over on Xbox One, you're getting The Escapist and Super Mega Baseball. Because I already have Super Mega Baseball, that doesn't sound as enticing, but Super Mega Baseball is amazing. Yeah, that is the best baseball game I've played in a long time. So, really good month for both subscription services. So if you're into that stuff, they're coming. Games are coming.
Now I'm waiting to see if next month, if PlayStation still keeps it going, and now they can justify that $10 price hike. Because if this is the kind of stuff we're going to get every month, I am a-okay with paying the extra money because I'm happy with both these titles. Even though I've played Resident Evil, I've played that story I don't know how many times over and over again. I'm still happy to have it again and play through it. So
you're happy to add it to the library.
Absolutely, and I'll play it. It's not just gonna be added to the library, just leave it there for someday. I will totally be playing that at least sometime in the near future if I could squeeze it in my holiday plans. But yeah, I'm excited. Was there any other news you wanted to cover before? I don't think there's anything too big.
We have a Famicom Mini coming to Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just
I
announced.
saw tweets about that.
I think.
I didn't think the lineup of games was better than the NES Mini.
Yeah, I don't. What about Yai Kung Fu? Or Atlantis no Nazo?
Importing now.
Ghosts and
My life
Goblins.
is complete.
You might actually be able to get one of those in the States, though. That would be the difference.
Yeah. Other than that,
That's
it's
true.
largely the same, but I just like the way I just love the way the Famicom looks.
The way it looks, yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Got that whole NES retro Mario amiibo thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true.
That's it for me.
All right, then. So, yeah, that's your news, guys. So before we leave, we'll get to the plugs then. So, Donnie, is there anything you'd like to plug that's non-news related prior to us leaving?
You can follow me on Twitter at PlayNintendo. You can always come visit us at playsandvideogames.com. I wrote a story that I'm really excited about, covering the expansions that are coming to Guitar Hero Live and Rock Band 4. So definitely come to those. Comment, let me know if you're interested in playing either one of those, if you hate both of them, whatever it is, because I have both of them, love playing both of them, and if you're playing them, I definitely want to play with you and try to beat you at the leaderboards and all of that stuff. So, good times.
There you go. And Jason?
Boy, anything I need to plug? No, I don't think so. I mean, I do a podcast, Flux to Pose. I have a YouTube channel, Battle of the Beer. You can check those out, and then more importantly, just check out all the cool stuff that the people on PSVG are putting out. I am working on a game that for review will come out in a couple weeks, and then that's about it.
There you go. So, yes, you can always email us at podcast@playsomevideogames.com. I do know we received a couple questions, but because we were kind of being Nintendo 3DS specific, we're going to hold those questions till next week. So, continue to send them in. We will address those questions, I promise. You can follow us on Twitter at PSVG. You can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/playsomevideogames. As we mentioned a couple times throughout this episode, be sure to check out our Twitch and YouTube channels and our most recent reviews, and reviews done quick for that matter. We have Nathan had just recently done a review of Firewatch. I did a review of Virginia, as I stated. By the time this episode drops, the review for Jazz Punk will be up. And maybe some other stuff if we get to it in the meantime. But definitely check it out. We got a lot of big things going on over there, so we appreciate your support as always. So tell your friends about the podcast. Spread the good word. Rate us on iTunes as well to help us stay on the charts there and get some more people giving us a shot. But the most important thing I need you all to do, your homework assignment, if you will, besides getting a new 3DS, because if you're not convinced after this episode, you are a lost cause. And you should stop gaming. But for the rest of you, never stop gaming.